Between 2014 and 2017, which is a 3-year time span, Indian flights got about 120 bomb threats in total. But in just about 9 days of October 2024, Indian Airlines got 130 bomb threats, an absolutely unprecedented number. 24 of these threats were just on 20th October, and the modus operandi for all of them was similar. Either posted through anonymous accounts on X or via an email to the airlines or through a phone call. And once one threat is given, similar threats suddenly start to appear within a short span of time. And all of them turned out to be hoax calls. This bizarre issue caused a nightmare for airlines and flyers and disrupted India's aviation space for days. Dozens of planes were either grounded, diverted, or flown to safety by fighter jet escorts. And this was across airlines: Air India, Vistara, SpiceJet, Indigo, and a couple of foreign ones operating on Indian routes as well. This of course led to a lot of chaos because these flights had to go through the whole protocol of sending emergency alerts, after which they have to land at the nearest available airport, deboard passengers, check the aircraft for explosives, and then reboard the passengers. And then of course the whole schedule goes for a toss. This whole exercise for all these flights in the last few days has reportedly cost Indian Airlines losses of a whopping 500 crore rupees so far. This includes the cost of the extra fuel, the cost of security and rechecking, the cost of giving passengers food and beverages while they wait, and the cost of hotels if required, since at least one of the affected flights could take off only after 3 days. Also, airlines need to pay parking charges to the airport if they make an emergency landing. So undoubtedly, this was a major disruption. Now, what has the government and the authorities done about it? Well, they are set to take some legislative action like amending laws to make punishments for such hoax calls stricter and put those responsible on no-flying lists.
So we are trying to make an amendment. Our legal team has worked very thoroughly on this, and we are coming up with an amendment, and then we are taking in, because this has to be a legal change in the Act, we need a consultation from other stakeholders, other ministries also. So we are in that process right now.
But as per experts, this itself may not solve the situation as such, because so far agencies are unable to really trace who is putting out these messages.
It's very odd and it's very mind-boggling of what is happening. And announcing that we are going to raise the law to make it more stringent has very little meaning in this, because you can't even catch the person. The person may not be in this country.
Also, as per PTI, authorities met last night and they've now made changes to the process which an aircraft has to go through when they get a hoax call. Basically, this is to ensure that random internet threats don't disrupt entire flight operations across the country. Until now, these threats were being treated as specific threats, since there was a flight number and everything that was mentioned in the threat, which kicked off a counter-terrorist and anti-hijack protocol, which we discussed above. In such cases, the aircraft has to undergo the entire procedure which we saw above. But now, while there will be strict checking at airports and security and everything, the Bomb Threat Assessment Committee has changed how they will recognize a message as specific versus non-specific. For example, on Monday night, bomb threat messages sent to 30 flights across 3 carriers, which is Air India, Vistara and Indigo, they were declared hoax or non-specific, because it was found that one X handle posted these messages for 10 flights between 10:46 and 11:42 p.m. So the protocol has been tweaked to avoid issues for airlines and flyers, which should ease the situation a little. But now experts are saying that the fact that these unprecedented messages are coming is flabbergasting, since nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows their motive. They haven't asked for any ransom. And if we can't trace these people, then how can they be penalized?
I was coming back from Milan. I landed up this yesterday morning, and the flight was 3 hours delayed, and I was told that there was perhaps a hoax call and the aircraft had to be security cleaned. The thing just now is that these calls are coming from all sorts of countries. However, we still don't know actually what is the reality, whether they're actually coming from India, being sent through VPNs and all sorts of technical things where this is managed and the source will never be easily known. And I don't think the DGCA and the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security are equipped to handle this kind of a thing, this kind of an attack, a digital attack, a cyber attack on India through the aviation sector. Cyber attacks have been done earlier in India, even in aviation, where it's done for a ransom when they go to airlines and take away the data of passengers, or to airports and take away the data of passengers and then ask for a ransom to restore it. However, there's no ransom demand and there's no political demand either. Like hijacking of aircrafts, you ask for a political demand. So what is happening? I don't know. It's very strange. And why this sudden thing happening? And who are the people who can handle this? I think the only party is in India is NIC, and there are some professional ethical hackers who need to be called in.
Moreover, they have currently chosen to create chaos in the aviation space. But who's to say that this can't be done in any other sector of the Indian economy?
See, the point is, in aviation, you create the maximum public outrage, maximum publicity, and even if there's no genuine bomb, you create a panic. You create a panic, and this is being done only in India. To the best of my knowledge, no other country is getting such hoax calls. So, or at least with this kind of intensity. So there is something political in this, I can say. And I think there is a very strong need for other agencies like NIC and maybe RAW and others to look into this aspect and see how they can, what is causing this, what are the reasons of this. To the best of our knowledge, no ransom and no political demand has been raised in any call. So what is happening? Why is it happening? And how do you trace the culprit is an issue which is kind of mind-boggling. It is.
So here's a full lowdown on why these calls are concerning despite them just being hoax calls. Hope you found this information useful. For more such content, keep watching Mint.